dad, I don't think I've ever been so sort of taken with someone at a read through before. We did the read through, and he was so like what's that? Just so sort of like efficient, and you just couldn't take your eyes off him across from the table, and you could hear a pin drop around the table every time he started speaking. And he commanded this sort of power. And I think I learned from that is that sometimes at read-throughs, people feel a bit embarrassed and they don't want to act.
Right. Yeah.
They don't want to like give it some beans. They want to just like sort of lean back in their chair and sort of read it. Rock music. I fucking love it. I'm so excited about new music at the moment. It's like,
what are you seeing?
well, it's just bands are back.
Yeah.
Like proper fucking rock bands are back.
I know.
Whereas like the whole way through like 2010s, it just seemed like it was single artists or sort of bedroom poppy sort of stuff. And now it's like, I don't know. I'm excited about new music for the first time in like 10 years.
I know. I feel like I'm going to finally see more stuff now. It is that thing of like post-COVID. I just want to go out all the time and see things.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah. And that's the great thing about being in London. Like my friend was visiting from Lisbon, and Lisbon's amazing. He lives there. But he's just like, every time he comes to London, it's just like, everything's just so easy. It's everything. Any night of the week, you just go out and see something.
Yeah.
Whereas in Lisbon, you sort of have to wait till something comes to you. And then,
We were in Japan. We were just chatting. We just got a coffee from around the corner. We were chatting with these guys about Japan. Also, you got the volume here if you want to play about with that.
This is good. Everything sounds delicious.
Lovely, thank you. And it's weird about Japan. I was like, I want to go and I want to see a bunch of live music. And it turns out that Japan doesn't really have free live music. Everything in Japan is really, really cheap. Right. But if you want to go see something, you basically need to pay a full price ticket, same as you'd pay in London, maybe sometimes more expensive,
right,
for a band that you can't even really look up. They're just like rock. And you're like, oh, okay, so I'm going to pay like 50 quid to go see something. I don't know what it is. So I do really like the scene in London. It does feel like you can kind of just go to anything all of the time. And there's all these like pubs that are free as well. So you can go see live music at different pubs and you don't need to pay anything to go and see it.
Exactly. Well, I used to... There was a brief moment in time where I thought about doing music as like my thing. I like guitar and singing and stuff.
I was chatting with Adam the other day from drama school, and he was saying at one point you reached out to him and you were like, oh, maybe could you like help me with some stuff? Because he's doing that full time now. He's doing the music thing. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing. I loved it. And I still do. I still I don't write songs anymore, but I keep my guitar by my sofa and I play it all the time, but it's more just for me. I found that I have quite a, creatively, I get very sort of on one track. I find it hard to multitask creatively. Yeah, and since like deciding that acting was the thing I was doing, music sort of just, I didn't have the sort of energy to put into it like I used to.
Yeah.
But I'd play gigs in London like every weekend, and they were all free because I never got paid once.
So you're still doing gigs now?
No. I think the last gig I played was, 2018.
Right.
Like the year before I came to drama school.
Right. You were doing... I wanted to ask you about this because I'd heard you were a model before as well.
Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, that's quote unquote model.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like I was terrible.
What? Why? I don't know anything about the modelling world, so I'm fascinated. Did you see the film, was it Triangle of Sadness?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all I know. Yeah, it's incredible.
Spot on, by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can't remember the name of the director, but he did The Square before as well. Such a good director.
Yeah.
No, that's all I know about the modelling world. So what was it?
I mean, it's pretty accurate. That scene at the beginning when he's in that room with all the models and everyone's got their tops off and holding their books, and you walk into a room, you give a table like this your book, and they sort of look through it, sort of looking at you like that, and then they're like, for you to walk, so then you like walk up and down, and they watch you walk, and they hand it back. And thanks I've had people literally take my card, look me up and down, and be like, thanks very much, and then throw my card straight in the fucking bin next to the desk.
Do you find it similar to the acting career?
No. God. Well, I mean, I think what it did was it was good and bad because it definitely it can cause quite a lot of insecurity because you're constantly comparing yourself to everyone else. You go to a casting and there's 200 boys there, and you're just like they're in better shape than me, or you start really you start sort of hyper analyzing every aspect of you, which I don't think is healthy at all. But what it did do was it gave me a pretty thick skin for rejection.
Right.
Because when you get rejected, because just like the way you look, everything else sort of is like, oh, I don't know. Like, I think I deal with rejection within the industry quite well because of that. But the difference is, there's a couple of differences. You get treated so much better as an actor than a model, in every aspect. And just in the business side, like, you get paid on time. I don't think I ever got paid quicker than 6 months.
Right.
And I would always have to chase the payment.
So how long were you doing that for?
I did it for I was 23 to 20, like full time for about 4 years, and then on and off for another 4 years. So I was probably doing it for till I was about 28. No, so like 7 years.
Yeah. So was acting always something you wanted to do, or you thought you were going to be a model, a musician? Like, what was the thing? Because I always find it interesting, different people starting drama school at different times. Because I started quite young. I'm actually shocked that I got in, looking back at it.
How old were you when you got in?
I think I turned 19, so I officially got in at 18.
Wow.
I was studying at a school in New York, and essentially I figured out that it wasn't the place. I always say to people, like, if you want to be a musical actor, go to New York. But New York is not known for its straight theatre. It has it, but the things that I was seeing most of the time were either National Theatre Lives or tours from England.
Right.
And so I was like, right, I need to come to the UK and figure that out. And luckily I got into the Royal Conservatoire first time. And I was like, I can't, looking back at it, I'm kind of shocked that I did it, because then I met people who nearly tried 5 or 6 times to get in and finally got in.
Yeah.
And I think there's like quite a different thing with people who go from a young age, because you're still kind of figuring yourself out. You become an adult. I was, partying all the time, as you do at RCS. I imagine most drama schools are the same. And now I think if I went now, I'd be a lot more focused.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you find that was a different experience? Because I was the oldest one, or one of the oldest ones in your year?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. By a long way. I was 28 when I got in.
Yeah.
But I would have been. I always say, like, I found it at the time that I found it, and I think everyone does. Some people, like yourself, you went when you were 18, and you say that you might not have been ready, but you were definitely more ready than I was at 18. I was pretty sort of all over the place, and just not nearly mature enough to sort of handle anything, let alone drama school. But when I was 28, I felt, I quit my job, but I'd moved to Scotland. I wasn't sort of messing around. I didn't have a plan B. I was like, this is it. I'm going to drama school. So I think it added like a pretty sort of intense singular focus on doing the best I could while I was there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that would have been the case if I went when I was like 20.
Right. And so did you want to act for years before that, or you were doing a couple of different things and you were like, maybe acting's the way?
I always knew acting was what I wanted to do most.
Yeah.
I loved it in school. I did National Youth Theatre and all that kind of stuff. And then I did apply to drama school when I was 18. And I did pretty well. I got to the final rounds of quite a few, and then got into Mountview. But I decided, I was like, I'm going to have another go next year and try and get, nothing against Mountview. Mountview a great school. Yeah. It was also different in 2009. I was like, I'm going to try again and hopefully get into one of the other schools. And then I just lost momentum, got a job, started, like you said, started going out, started enjoying myself, and completely lost touch with acting. And then I didn't do it, but always knew that that's kind of what I wanted to do. And then it wasn't until I was 26, I ran into a friend of mine who we went to school together, who we used to act together. And I asked her what she was doing. She was like, I'm acting with this director. And she introduced me to this amazing director called Than Hussein Clark, who is big in the art world, but is obsessed with theatre.
Right.
And he would do these insane avant-garde theatre pieces that would last 4 hours. We performed in a church in Basel and in the Pompidou in Paris.
What sort of stuff?
Where do I even begin? We did a thing at the Pompidou in Paris where we put on a fake movie press conference.
Right.
So it was a press conference for a movie that didn't exist, but we didn't want anyone to know that the movie didn't exist. Okay. And we were all playing parts. And
they came knowing this?
No, they had no idea.
They were going to see a film.
They came to see something. I don't know what. I have no idea. There were people there.
Did you just upset loads of Parisian people?
Yeah, just
these like, English actors coming down, promising us a film.
Exactly. Yeah, but we did this whole press conference, and then it ended, and then people would start to leave, but then the play would continue.
Oh right, okay.
Sort of behind the fourth wall, and I like had a drug overdose on stage. it was mental, but that sort of got me into it, and I will always sort of thank both of them, Ruth and Than, to sort of they sort of spawned they made me realise acting was actually a possibility, and then Than supported me in applying to drama school, and then I went to drama school. So yeah, it was a long time coming. I think if I didn't do it at 28, I would have done it at 40. If I didn't do it at 40, I would have done it at 50. It was always going to come out of me eventually.
Yeah. What was the thing for you? Was it a film? Did you like theatre? Did you see something that really inspired? I feel like most people, they see one thing and that changes it for them. I think I'd seen, as a teenager, it was, we were actually reading Hamlet in English class. And I was like, I think I said to a friend of mine, she's told me later on, I fucking hate Shakespeare and I never want to touch it ever again. And we'd been watching Sherlock, a friend of mine and I, and then for her birthday we went to see NT Live Hamlet with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And then after that, reading Hamlet, I was so into it. I was just switched on, and I was like, I didn't realize that acting could be that, or particularly like Shakespeare could be that. So yeah, was there a thing that you saw that was like, this is the thing? Like, it was always in you.
Honestly, somewhere? I can't put it down to one thing. We grew up on. My dad worked in the film industry, so we grew up on movies. We watched movies all the time. But it was more of just a feeling I had when I first did it. We did. Someone came around our school asking if we wanted to take part in this like play in the town nearby, and I was like, I don't remember why I decided I wanted to do it. I was like, yeah, I'll do that, and it was fantastic, Mr. Fox.
Oh, great!
And I played Mr. Fox, and it was. I just remember the feeling of it, just feeling like, oh fuck, this feels amazing. I really like this, and like feeling sort of, I mean, for lack of a better word, sort of validated in your feeling because people say that was really good, and you're like, okay, am I good at this? Am I like, and that sort of fed it, and I just absolutely adore sort of the sort of how difficult. I hate when actors get all wanky about sort of like, it's so difficult to like, no, but like, I love how difficult it is.
Yeah.
And how sort of ever changing it is, and 1 minute you have it and 1 minute you don't have it. And it's like a constant sort of chase for me, which I really sort of love.
Do you find that, I always say with actors who are sort of coming up and get the chance to work with bigger famous people, like you got to do in Game of Thrones, I find there's people who learn from those experiences and sort of grow. Was it in Slow Horses, Jack Lowden always talks about, like, whenever he's not on set, he'll come to set anyway and just hide behind a couch and watch what Gary Oldman's doing. Yeah. Have you found that, like, has that been your experience, just sort of watching other people and trying to sponge up everything?
100%. Yeah. You can learn something from everyone. I'm trying to think who. I mean, I worked with Rob Brydon for My Lady Jane, and we pretty much had every scene together. And he is probably the most. I've never worked with or seen anyone who can improvise off the cuff like he can.
I saw you do a couple of the promo things. We were talking about what are they called? The little penises?
Cod pieces. Yeah.
And he was just like riffing off the back and just doing it. It was incredible.
It's unbelievable. And he has an unlimited supply of just pure gold that comes out of his mouth. And I quickly learned with that, at first you feel like, oh shit, I need to be as funny as him. And you're like, what am I talking about?
How am I possibly going to be?
That's impossible. Yeah. So I was like, I quickly realised the best way of doing it was just to set him up. Just take what he gives you and then lay it back up to him, and he will just keep and just be the sort of feed guy into him. He was amazing and such a fucking great dude. And then in Night of the Seven Kingdoms,
which I sort of we started watching it, and I think my first thought was, I was like, this is the Deadpool of Game of Thrones.
Ooh.
I think that's what it feels like.
I like that.
Because it starts off with him kind of like shitting himself behind the tree, but not quite covered by the tree. And I was like, this feels like the Deadpool of this universe.
I like that. Yeah, I'm going to take that. I learned so much from so many people in that job. Peter Claffey, the lead, who is such a good friend of mine now. I learned how you should behave as the number one on the cast list. He took that show and put it on his shoulders, but it really makes a difference. Basically, whoever number one on the cast list behaves, it trickles down to the rest of the cast.
Right.
So if you're a bit of a dick, or you're not even a bit of a dick, if you're just a little bit unenthused and not particularly sort of generous with your time and energy to the project, it trickles down and it leaves a bit of a sort of, I don't know, no one else feels obliged to do it because the lead's not.
Yeah.
But every night he'd be asking if people wanted to do stuff. He would organize. We went into karaoke. He would organize a Saturday sort of drinking thing, and he knew every person's name. He would hang out with all the horse stunt people. Honestly, he should be studied as how to act as number one. And then Sam Sproul, who played my dad. I don't think I've ever been so sort of taken with someone at a read through before. We did the read through, and he was so like just so sort of like efficient, and you just couldn't take your eyes off him across from the table, and you could hear a pin drop around the table every time he started speaking. And he commanded this sort of power. And I think I learned from that is that sometimes at read-throughs, people feel a bit embarrassed and they don't want to act.
Right, yeah.
They don't want to like give it some beans. They want to just like sort of lean back in their chair and sort of read it. And
I imagine there's those people as well.
Yeah. And like, I understand that. And I can but he was like leaning across the table and he was just like chewing the words. I was like, that's fucking cool.
Great.
That like, I'm going to do that from now. Because why not? Like,
yeah.
You're there to hear the script, how it's written.
Yeah.
The writers want to hear it. Fucking act. I mean, you don't have to start getting up and
no, putting on a costume.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's such a good time. Do you find that you've had a favourite show of the ones that you've done recently? Was it Game of Thrones, or was it a Good Girl's Guide to Murder? Was there something that was particularly juicy for you to get into?
Yeah, I mean, they all have sort of aspects which make them my favourite. I'd say My Lady Jane I have a really soft spot for, because it was my first sort of big job, and it was a long one, and I had a lot to do. So it's the first time I sort of could really get stuck into a character, and I loved my character Stan. So I think that will always have a special place in my heart. But I think the happiest I've been with like just my own sort of like performance or how it came out would be A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I think the whole show you always think when we were in it, we're like, I think this is a really fucking good show. But you almost don't want to say it because and then it comes out and people really like it. And you're like, fuck, okay, cool. It's just I'm just glad people sort of responded to it in the way that they did, and they don't think it's shit.
Yeah. It was. I was sort of, as we started it, and I was like, I don't know, because it was like sort of a comedic twist, and I was like, oh, actually, it's really good. And we binged the whole thing in one night.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with because you can do it in 3.5 hours or whatever.
Are you getting recognised on the street yet for these things?
Very rarely. I really, really rarely get recognised. It's maybe happened 2 or 3 times.
You don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
It's the thing where you want to get good roles and you kind of just want to be left alone in your daily life.
And I don't think I really look like the roles that I've been doing, especially Daeron. Yeah. Although I got recognised at a pub the other day by the barman, and I was really surprised by that. I was like, really? But no, I hope that stays like that too. I want to sort of, not that I dislike people saying hi to me or anything like that. I think if I look and seem very different to my characters, there's something about that I actually really like.
Yeah. Can you talk about anything that you've got coming up, or is that all under wraps?
I just finished filming an Amazon film called Red, White and Royal Wedding, which is a sequel to Red, White and Royal Blue, which was like a big rom-com that came out a couple of years ago. That was lovely. That was a really fun job to start the year. Just sort of fun, easy, full of heart, and the cast were lovely. And it's actually the same director and same writer as My Lady Jane, so it turned out to be a bit of a sort of reunion. So I did that. And then I'm doing my little brother's final year.
Yeah, you're going to go do that today?
I'm leaving today to go to Southampton to film my little brother, who is the DOP on his student film, his final year project at Bournemouth Film School. So we're going to do that over the next 4 or 5 days, which will be really fun. Yeah. I do have a job at the end of the month, which I'd love to tell you about, but I'm not allowed to yet.
It's fine. NDA.
It's a small part on a really, really, really great job. And then just trying back to being unemployed and looking for the next thing.
Yeah. Do you find you've got like time in between? Like, what are you doing with life in between the spaces? Auditioning, obviously, but going to see music. Like, what do you do to sort of get away from the acting when you're not on set?
I've just got my first place. So a lot of my energy has been gone into sort of getting that how I want it, dealing with the unique pressures and stresses of having the responsibility for when things break, like the roof doesn't really work as a roof. It sort of lets water in, which is not what you want.
I know the feeling. It's a bit different on a boat, because if water's coming in, it's a bit different than
quite a time pressurized situation.
Yeah.
Right? So that's been great. I've been sort of really enjoying that. I play a lot of golf. Golf.
Really?
Yeah, I'm fucking obsessed with golf.
I don't know that many people who are obsessed with golf. It was always the thing that my dad put on, and it was the thing that I could fall asleep to.
Yeah, fair enough. I love it. I mean, just the last like 2 or 3 years I've just become really obsessed with it. And then the thing is, when you hit your sort of 30s, everyone starts playing golf. Like all my friends now start playing. So
I'm a year and a half away from that. So
it'll happen.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, well, let me know. We'll go play golf. So I've been doing that. Like you said, music. Been going to quite a few gigs. Went to a gig last night. Saw 2 amazing bands, Bleach 93 and Keo. And yeah, that's about it. That's the funny thing. It's just when you're not acting or you're not working, I actually don't know what I do a lot of the time.
Do you get sucked into a role? Do you sort of like hone into that space while you're there, or?
I have done. It really depends on the role. With like the Seven Kingdoms, definitely.
I feel like you have to with that.
Yeah.
There's such a set and costumes, and you really need to live in that world.
Exactly. Yeah. And you need to do it justice as well, and it needs to be sort of believable. And there was a bit, I wouldn't know if pressure is the right word, but like there was a sense of responsibility to sort of deliver something that the fans who know the books back to front will actually sort of digest and accept. Whereas like Red, White and Royal Wedding, although obviously I worked very hard on it, it was a much easier role to sort of step into and step out of, because he's a sort of like jovial Labrador sort of energy guy, and it was very easy to sort of step in and out of him. So I guess it depends on the role.
I feel like you're getting sort of put up for similar things. You kind of play the dickhead in some things.
I know. Yeah.
Do you like that?
So I have. I'm not complaining. I think it's, especially at the beginning of your career, it's helpful to have a sort of type that you get opportunities to play, and if you can play a certain thing well, then you should.
Yeah, I mean, it can be constraining as well if you get stuck in that.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's definitely some things that have come up where it's been a very similar thing, like right off the back of Good Girls Guide to Murder, something will come in where it's a sort of similar sort of, posh entitled guy does an awful thing to someone, and I'm just like, I don't have to do that immediately.
Nice, yeah.
Oh, but well, that was the thing. That's why I really loved doing Red, White and Royal Wedding, because like, oh my god, this guy's nice. This guy's a good dude. After playing Max for 3 seasons, or 2 seasons, I really enjoyed playing him, but I am happy to have sort of laid him to rest.
Sure. Yeah. Are you trying to get back to stage or anything like that, or do you like screen? I know a lot of people, they just pick one thing. They're like, this is the thing.
Yeah, I would love to go back to stage.
Yeah. Do some avant-garde in Paris.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, like you, that's how I sort of started and how I sort of discovered my love for acting was stage. I'd never done any TV and film until I left drama school.
What was sort of the because you came out and you pretty much started. How soon after graduating did you kick off with the first thing?
So I got Outlander in the last month of drama school. Excuse me. And then I got My Lady Jane the day I graduated, which was mad. So it was sort of off to the races a little bit, which is great. But I think you tend to find a sort of momentum in whatever you're doing. And for me, that was just TV and film. So I've maybe had, the past 3 years, I've maybe had 5 or 6 theatre auditions. That's it. As opposed to like 100 TV and film auditions.
Sure.
But then I know people who have had 5 TV and film auditions and 100 stage auditions. Yeah, I think it's how casting directors see you. They see you as a TV or film actor, or they see you as a stage actor. But having said that, I would absolutely love to do some theatre at some point. It's just picking the right one, timing wise, and but yeah, I don't want to lose that. I always wanted to have sort of like a healthy balance of maybe 80% TV and film, 20% stage, something like that.
Right. Yeah, how was that coming straight out of drama school? What was that pressure like? Did you find it was high pressure to sort of perform and elevate yourself? I know a lot of people say when they get their first big job out of drama school, they learn more on the job than they ever did in drama school. I don't know if you find that to be the case.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think specifically with TV and film, because there's just no really replicating an actual set at drama school. They did a good job, and they taught us a lot, and it wasn't like a shock. But I don't think you can sort of really be prepared unless you've actually gone on set and sort of experienced that. But was there pressure? Yeah, I mean, I felt a pressure in myself to book a job early, because I obviously went later on in life. So I was 31 when I left. So I felt there was a little bit, I bet I sort of need a hot start here, because if I have 4 or 5 years of not really doing anything, then I'm like approaching 40, and then it's hard. So I put pressure on myself to book a job. But did I feel I think Outlander was a great job to start with, because it's such a rite of passage for RCS people.
Yeah, of course. So many people are in it.
So many people, and it's an established job, and what I was talking about, how the behaviour of the leads trickles down. Katrina Balfe and Sam Heughan are lovely people.
I've heard this. Yeah.
Really, really lovely people. And so that just trickles down to everything. So the whole show is lovely. It's like a really nice show to work on.
Yeah. Have you found that there's a lot of people who aren't so lovely in the industry? Have you worked with many leads? I've heard. I'm not going to name any names, but I've got a friend and he does extra work, so he gets to work sort of right next to big leads and things all the time. And you always hear the story about people coming in and not knowing their lines and needing a placard, or just being a bit rude or a bit grumpy. And is there a fair amount of that, or has it been quite lovely across the board? I mean, you've worked in some good projects, so I imagine like the majority has been great.
I would say I've been really, really lucky with everyone I've worked for. Yeah, I mean, everyone has moments. Everyone has moments of getting frustrated, or maybe someone isn't as prepared as they maybe should be. And I'm trying to think if there's anyone. There has been a few. I can count on. I think there's been 1 or 2 people who I genuinely think aren't good people.
People you don't want to work with again.
No. But that's out of, I don't know, 200 people that over the course of the jobs. So it's...
What is that like then, to be working with someone who just kind of... Because you talked about people going to karaoke, Game of Thrones, but when there's that sort of negative energy in the room, how do you play around that? Do you find it more difficult to do your job than if it's easy, or is it just kind of like,
I mean,
get on with it?
Yeah, I think it's always going to be slightly trickier when you don't have a good relationship. And I've never had to do a scene with anyone that so get that out there. If people's trying to work out who I'm talking about, I've never done a scene with anyone that I don't like. It's I just try and ignore it. I try and distance myself from it. hate drama. I hate confrontation.
I feel like drama school was enough drama as it was, you know? It's that whole thing of I look back and people talk about all the stories, and I feel like everyone was quite a different person in drama school as well. I feel like you come out, especially because we sort of came out around the pandemic, so I feel like people just shifted quite a lot. People go back and they talk about stories, and I'm like, that's great, and that was a really good time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so glad I'm not there anymore.
Yeah. It was. Drama school was, we were quite lucky with our year. We didn't have that much drama.
Oh, we were so much drama.
You had a lot of drama.
Like every other day was an intervention with Joyce telling us off.
I remember
someone getting banned from school.
I remember your year, and also I think because you were 2 years above me, weren't you?
I think so.
Yeah.
No, I know. I said I was one, but I was like, no.
No, I was trying to work it out because Neela was a year above me.
I always forget people above me as well. I can't remember whether they were one or two, but
yeah.
We were particularly known for mischief.
You were great. I loved your year though. A lot of fun.
It was a fun time, just getting told off all the time.
Yeah. But you're right. Yeah, I'm not doing this job to sort of I don't know.
You don't want to be combative.
No, and so if there's someone giving sort of really bad energy or being a dick or being unprofessional, if they're being unprofessional I'm trying not to sort of be careful about what I say, but there's been times where someone's been really unprofessional to like co-stars, and then or people, makeup people or costume people, and then I think like it's worth either calling them out or sort of. But it's hard because is
it just them being them, or is it the thing where people come? I know it's like a big thing now where people do. Is it character acting? I forget what the term is. Method. Is that a big thing where people come in in character? No,
I've never seen that. No, I've never seen that. No, I think some people are just a bit insecure, and that manifests in a way that causes them to sort of behave in a sort of overcompensate and behave in a way that is not good. I think all bad behavior comes from insecurity and not feeling like you're sort of worthy.
Yeah. And like you said, like having been in the modeling industry before as well, you sort of have an appreciation for how nice people can be. And I feel like when you're acting, everyone, for the most part, you can speak to everyone. You can speak to the makeup people, and you can speak to the people behind the camera, and everyone's just so lovely. Yeah. Do you find that with all the different roles you do, I sort of find when I do anything, obviously like every role is different, but it is the thing where you sort of take something from every job you do. You feel like you're sort of growing more as like an actor and as a person the more you do.
Yeah. 100%. I think each job you do, you sort of leave with maybe a thing that you were naive about, which you're not naive about anymore. I really try and sort of take at least a couple of things to learn from each job and grow. I look back to sort of I've got all my self-tapes in a file.
You keep them all?
Yeah, I've got them. I don't know. I really love...
Do you watch them back?
No, I went... Sometimes if I get a job, I'll go back and watch it, and because I want to know if I did something that sort of... I'm weird. I really love... I've got an Excel spreadsheet of every audition I've ever done.
Oh, wow.
Every casting director, the role, if I got recalled, if I didn't get recalled, if I was then auditioning for another part in the same project, and then I got my friend who's an accountant who's really good at Excel to then put an equation. So then I've got like percentages of how many I'm getting recalled for compared to how many I'm booking.
That's so meticulous.
I love seeing...
I don't know anyone who does that.
Yeah, I know it's weird. People are going to think I'm really weird now. But I love seeing things sort of laid out in an organised way. And I find it helpful for just my own sort of like sanity to keep things like that in order. If I just did all these self-tapes and then just put them straight in the bin, I don't know. I like seeing progression.
Do you do that for like even like commercials as well, or for things that you properly put a bit more effort into?
Yeah, just sort of acting or like self-tape stuff for projects. I don't know if it's healthy. I've had people say to me like, "Is this good, Henry?" But I get such a rush when
I show it off when they come round. Look at my spreadsheet.
Look at it. Look at all the green. But I get really excited if I get recall. I get really excited to then go onto my spreadsheet and like highlight it in green and see the numbers change. And it's really weird.
It feels like a twisted way of getting excited about getting acting jobs or recalls.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It might not be healthy, but it seems to be.
Yeah. So you must be like quite meticulous then in how you approach something.
Yeah. With when it comes to that kind of stuff, I wouldn't say I'm the most organized person in the world just in life, but with that kind of stuff, I really like to sort of get my ducks in a row and know what I'm doing when I'm doing it.
Do you find that like when you're doing a role as well, do you approach them a similar way or is it different every time? Do you use techniques from like, do you go back and watch one of those self-tapes and you go, okay, I did this there, so maybe I can approach this in a similar way? Or
it's a really good question.
Because I know everyone's different. It's that thing where people write books about acting, and I know people who there were people in my year at drama school who were obsessed with reading acting books, and I didn't find it useful at all.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I found certain things really, really useful. Like, I think if I was going to pick like a practitioner, which I think Uta Hagen's questions are always a really great place to start. I'll do that pretty much with every character.
Yeah.
I might not do all of them, but I'll do the basics. And then I like finding. It's been different with each part. Like for Stan, it's weird what unlocks certain things. For Stan, it was the costumes. Because they were so flamboyant.
I find costumes really do help.
Really helpful.
Yeah, I remember I got in an argument with my my girlfriend when I was a teenager. It was when I was in New York at the time, because she was getting on at me because I used to just dress like an absolute slob everywhere I went. And she's like, why don't you just dress nicer? And I was like, because I feel like a different person. You know, if I'm wearing suits all the time, I just feel like I'm kind of a cunt in a way.
Right,
know?
interesting, yeah.
So I've sort of grown out of that a little bit, but there is something about like putting on a costume and really like feeling into the role. And,
yeah. I think costume's super, super useful. And so when you put on... a bright blue sort of Tudor tunic with a giant codpiece, you can't help but start feeling sort of like peacocky.
Yeah.
And then for Daeron in Night of the Seven Kingdoms is when I put the wig on, and it had that sort of like greasy Kurt Cobain sort of like, and it was like sort of over my face, and I looked myself in the mirror, and it just sort of physicality sort of clicked in just seeing that.
Well, there was I was fascinated how you sort of approached that one because the character was an alcoholic, essentially. He was drinking all the time, and I felt like you just had sort of a sweatiness to you that was very characterful. And what was that like, sort of?
That was all my sweat. Together? Yeah, I just went...
Yeah.
Oh, it came out. No, I wish I could sweat.
I can't cry on cue, but I can sweat on cue. And the whole team is like, oh, God.
No, I can't do... I'm not Christian Bale, who apparently did sweat on cue on American Psycho, apparently.
Yeah. That man does everything on cue.
He's so fucking good.
Cue, in shape on cue.
Exactly. They would come round and they'd put like Vaseline and spray you.
Right, yeah.
It was so funny, the scene when we go outside of the tent and I tell Dunk about my dream. Ira, the showrunner, we did it like 4 or 5 times, and each time he'd be going to hair and makeup. He was like, he needs to look sicker. He needs to, like more like fuck him up.
Yeah. You think you're doing the best acting in the world, and they're like, just more Vaseline.
Yeah, he needs to look so fucking sweaty, like shivery. But that was playing him was really interesting actually, because I have weird sleep stuff as well. I've said this in other interviews. Like I sleep talk and
really?
and walk and have really.
My sister does that a bit.
Does she? Yeah. I've done it all my life. And I sort of lucid dream and all.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's.
Have you ever done? Have you ever? Well, not done. Had sleep paralysis?
No. Thank God.
Because I know that's a really big thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Touch wood. I don't want that. But I have really vivid dreams. And I did lots of sort of. I loved the relationship between like alcohol and dreams, because alcohol will suppress REM sleep.
Yeah.
So you don't dream, and that's why Daeron drinks so much, is to suppress these dreams that absolutely terrify him. But the really upsetting thing and sort of the tragic but really juicy thing about it is that REM sleep never dissipates. Your body builds up a need for it. So if you're pushing it off, if you have a 5-day bender, your body is just desperate to dream, and it will take it when as soon as you stop drinking, all that build up. And you have the most insane dreams. I don't know if you've been to a festival, and then
every time my dad comes into town, he's actually coming in April. We always go out because he comes into town with my uncles. They did it once, and it's essentially like lads trip, go to the pub all the time. So I've just got to like cancel every single thing. Last time I was ill, which I was actually quite happy about because I just went with them to the pub and I was just kind of sane. But I don't really drink all that much anymore. Like we partied so much in drama school, and we sort of don't really do that much anymore. But I do find that after a big bend, that's usually my one bender of the year. You just do have the most insane. You sleep like shit the whole time you're there. I'm just exhausted by the end of the trip. I'm so happy for them to leave.
Absolutely.
Because I'm like, finally, I can sleep.
You can sleep, and then you get hit with these like insanely vivid dreams because your body is going, oh, cool, nice.
So you just live in that all the time. You've always got vivid dreams, and
I mean,
do you lucid dream regularly? Like, can you do it on command?
No, I mean, I did it as a kid, and I didn't really know what lucid dreaming was. But then someone said, "Oh, it's when you're aware of you're in a dream when you're in a dream." I'm like, "Oh yeah,
isn't that normal?"
Yeah, I do. I do that. Yeah, but I loved that sort of that element of desperation that gives someone who is trying to suppress their dreams that they can't fucking stop drinking because if they do, they're going to get hit with a tidal wave of these horrific dreams. So that I found really sort of fun with Daeron was like he's an alcoholic, but it's not just because he likes to drink; it's because he fucking needs to drink. And I just I loved that sort of desperation that he had.
Yeah. So are you a big fan of sleep then?
I love sleep.
Yeah,
I sleep a lot.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like drinking, it makes you sleep so shit.
I was sort of watching you in those scenes, and I was like, did you just go on a massive bender to get in character? Was it my favorite film of all time is Filth with James McAvoy?
Yeah.
And I think he was drinking so much. I don't know if this is fully accurate, but apparently he drank half a bottle of whiskey every night, and then in the morning he would drink as well.
Really?
So he would just be kind of drunk or hungover on set all the time. So he really got into that character.
Yeah.
And I think halfway through filming, they were like, "You actually can't do this anymore because your body's falling apart." And so he stopped drinking, and then I think he just ate like shit food for the rest of the run. So he sort of put himself into that place.
Yeah, I did not do that. No, I don't drink before anything. And
are there a lot of people on set that you find sort of, we sort of talked about people getting into character, but are there people who do certain things to put themselves into a role like that? I feel like with film it's a little bit different than theatre. Theatre, you kind of need to be on your shit.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing an alcoholic, which Neela did in that play that we did, she was drinking all the time, but she doesn't drink at all. I feel like with theatre, you kind of need that presence and that energy to do it every night.
Oh, you can't. Yeah, there's no way you could sustain.
I think there is something to film that, like what Christian Bale does it, doesn't he? Where like every single role, he sort of puts himself into the place of that thing, and you're just kind of wearing your body out over time. But it massively helps the role.
Yeah.
To look at someone and be like, oh, you actually have been drinking for months to get ready for whatever this character is.
I think. I completely see why someone would do that. I don't think I'll ever do that. I mean, it's different. It's
not your thing.
No.
Excel spreadsheets.
There you go. Bingo. I just think I'm not casting judgment on anyone. If I think
it's not your thing.
Whatever works for you, and you're entitled to it. I just feel like I want to be able to get there I just want to get there on just acting and performance and really sort of, I don't know, I just at some point when does it stop becoming acting and start becoming just you being unhinged and drunk in front of camera saying lines, but I've definitely sort of changed appearances. I've got into shape for roles of and I really sort of physically I think it's helpful to sort of put yourself into a place for a role, but I just don't see how it's helpful to sort of damage your body to be more believable as a drunk or an addict.
Yeah.
Do you
have any sort of like method or anything you do to prepare when you're going on set? Like obviously sleep and take care of yourself.
Sleep is a big thing.
Yeah.
I do little things which is not particularly sort of interesting also. But I'll the night before, learning lines is a big thing. So the night before, sleep is key for learning lines, as you know.
Yeah. So you don't do the Sean Bean thing where you don't sleep and then read it off your hand in the middle of the
No, that
film.
would cause me so much anxiety.
I know so many people who do that. People are like, it's actually better if you don't know the lines, so you're almost like reaching for them. So to them, it sounds more natural.
Yeah,
I find that so stressful.
I've heard people say that before. I like to know them so well that I don't have to think about them, and then I can focus on like the intent of the line instead of trying to figure out the line. But sleep is ideal for that. So I'll go over the script. The last thing I do before going to sleep, I'll look at the script. I'll go over the lines, and then as soon as I sort of like wake up in the morning, sometimes before I even open my eyes, I'm still in bed, I'll just start saying the lines. Yeah. And it's amazing how easily the lines come out in the morning because your brain has been sort of...
Sleep and caffeine as well. Caffeine's really good for memory.
So like making all those connections.
Yeah.
I like to get up, early. I meditate. I'll do like a 10-minute meditation. I'll stretch. Depending on the scene, I'll do some like tongue twisters. I have a bone prop, which I found actually really useful.
What's this?
You know bone props?
No.
They're like a little piece of bone around a necklace, and you put it in between your teeth, and you say your lines like this.
Oh.
And so you say the lines, and then...
Why is it called a bone prop?
Because it's made out of bone.
Right.
It's an old school Shakespeare thing, I think.
I didn't know this. Right.
They didn't teach it at RCS. They actually hated it at RCS.
There's a few things I hate.
I remember I told Jean that I got it, and she was like, "You don't need that. You just need Nadine George."
Yeah. Oh God. Oh, you hated Nadine George.
I think.
As soon as we could get away from that, the better.
It's a powerful vocal work, but it was
incredible. But also we had some political divides.
Yeah. And she said some wild stuff.
Yeah. Were we all in the room? I can't remember if it was just I think everyone was in the room, and she came one year and she said something that was slightly off colour. I don't want to say what it was, but it upset a lot of people. And then I think a lot of people went and started reading different techniques after that. Yeah.
I think, similar thing. But this bone prop, because you put it in your mouth and you say your lines, and then you take it out and say your lines. And I don't know if it's like a placebo, but you feel like you can get your mouth around the words so much, and you're not tripping over your words.
Yeah.
And that's my sort of, as you can hear, my diction is not great sometimes. Like I trip over words, I say the wrong words.
Right.
And if I don't know the lines like the back of my hand, that happens. I sort of trip over them. So that's about it, really. That's in terms of preparation. If I'm filming that day, that's what I'll do.
So do you ever go off script? Do you ever improvise, or is it always like to the letter? Obviously, it depends on the job.
Yeah, absolutely depends on the job. My Lady Jane and Red, White and Royal Wedding was super improvisational. So we would do it a couple of times, and then we would do all sorts of weird stuff and say stuff. And
do you like improv?
I love improv. It's always scary before you do it.
Yeah,
but
especially when you're doing it with someone like Rob Brydon, you're like, oh, Christ,
yes,
got to bring my A game. Yeah,
but when you're doing it, it's so much fun. I mean, especially when it like something really great happens and you can sort of ride it.
Right.
But then other jobs I've done, which are like if you pause in the wrong place or you stress the wrong syllable of the wrong word.
Really?
Yeah. Outlander.
Yeah, okay.
Outlander was
Accent
very
stuff, and like especially when it's like aged like that as well.
Period stuff is usually quite. I remember in Outlander my line was like something about a curly wig. He told me that you'd be the curly wig giving orders, and I said curly wig or curly wig. I like separated it, and the woman came over and said, it's curly wig, like all one word. I'm like, curly wig. I said curly wig, so he said curly wig. I'm like, oh fuck, okay. It's my first job, and I'm like, all right. And then every time I said, I'm like, curly wig. Like, anyway. So yeah, you get those jobs where the sort of writer is. I've heard that with sort of Belgravia and Downton Abbey and stuff. When it's, you don't go off script.
Yeah.
And you get told quite quickly.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit stressful. Yeah. So do you have any preference when you're coming to different roles? Do you like to do stuff that's closer to you, or do you like to sort of get into something that's further away?
I would love to do more stuff that is further away from me. Like I said, I've been doing sort of they're different. They are different roles, but sort of within my sort of wheelhouse a little bit. I haven't had to do many accents. I had to do a bit of an American in a film called Pressure, but that was literally 2 lines. But this job at the end of the month, I am doing a completely different accent.
Right.
And I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, okay. It's one you're proud of.
Really looking forward to it because it's so different to my accent. So yeah, I've been talking to my agent the last sort of 6 months or so and being like, I really want to sort of do some sort of different stuff. I want to shave my head and play a northerner or like, I want to separate myself a little bit from the character I'm playing.
Sounds like Christian Bale's your inspiration in a way.
Man, he's amazing. I think transformational actors, it's sort of like a bit of a, you're allowed to do it when you're a super famous actor. People give you an opportunity to do it when you're a really famous actor. Whereas most people, you get cast in the thing that you look like and sound like, and that's fine. So I'm perfectly sort of willing to do that. But it's just, I don't want to play the same part over and over and over again.
Sure. I feel like it's the thing as well, like my family in America, so you'll see a film where someone transformed. And that's fascinating if it gets them into the character and you really believe them. Like Joker's a big one that people talk about. But a lot of the time I feel like people come out of the film and they don't actually talk about the story. They just go, wow, he got really skinny for the role.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're not actually talking about the,
It's a bit sort of sort of congratulatory sometimes. I think the person who does it the least sort of performative, but the most effective is Robert Pattinson.
Oh yeah,
I fucking love him. He's so good, and he like everything he's in. He's a completely different person. Like him in The Devil All the Time. Have you seen that? It's with like Tom Holland. It's a Netflix one. Tom Holland.
Yes.
He plays like the pastor.
That's right. Yeah.
And I looked up to see if his voice was dubbed because he sounded so different.
Is that something you try to aim for? Do you like that? I really like that thing when an actor does a different accent and they sound like a completely different person. It doesn't sound like their voice doing an accent.
Exactly. Yeah. But it sounded like someone else's voice. And that was bizarre, but amazing. And almost just like, I would love the confidence to give that a go. And maybe at some point, but I think it takes real, I don't know. I think he's brilliant. I think his career could have gone in such a different direction after like being in Twilight and Harry Potter and all this kind of stuff. But he really just took a step back and then just only did really quirky, interesting projects that sort of, because he's such a insane looking person. Yeah. And he does this sort of weird sort of like...
I feel like in everything I see him in, he's entirely different. Yeah.
And that's that is what I like to do. I don't really care about sort of transforming into a role, but like it's just doing different shit, like a really varied sort of range of different. Gary Oldman, another perfect example.
He's one of the best. I always like one of my favorite things to do with actors that I really like is I like going back and watching their entire canon. It's like going back and listening to like a band you like and listening to their albums evolve. You can watch people. I love watching actors who are really good when they were young and shit. It's sort of like, it's possible. You just learn by doing it.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And I think. With him, it's like, it's always funny when you don't, people get surprised by an actor's voice. They don't know what they sound like normally. And you hear Gary Oldman and like, I thought he was American, or I thought he was this, or I thought he was that.
He's one of those weird people. Like there's Christian Bale's one of them. Where they're sort of like English, but they've lived in America for a bit. I think Gary Oldman was in California, I think. Actually, my neighbour's friends with him, they sort of grew up together. And he was around in LA, like near the fires as well.
Oh, wow, really?
He's like, I know he's been around in America for a long time. And it's that thing where they come back. I can't remember what role it was, but he talked about coming back to do an English role. And he needed an accent coach to teach him how to do his own accent again.
Mad,
because you do just like waver between. Gillian Anderson's another one. She's just American or she's British, depending on the role, which I think is incredible. It helps so much. It's one of the things I like about having come up in America.
I was about to say, You must have a perfect American accent.
It's funny. Sometimes I'll see people in the street now and they're like, what the fuck are you you're Tom, right?
Yeah.
From drama school. And I'm like, yeah. And I've not seen them in like 5 or 6 years. And also I was partying all the time in drama school. So I was quite a different person at the time. People are like, are you not American? And I'm like, yeah. But I sort of transitioned.
That's mad.
It was a big thing when I was in drama school, because it was sort of like I had such a weird mix of a voice. It was like English, American, Scottish. And it was partly self.
Do you find that you have that? Because some people just sort of, they're a bit of a chameleon when it comes to accents, and they'll sort of take on the next.
I think so.
Yeah.
My mum's big for that, because like, so I grew up in Arizona, and when she speaks to people who are Mexican, she gets a bit of a Mexican accent. Even when she's saying something in English back to us, she'll like translate what the person said. She's got a bit of a Mexican or like South American. I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm no one to speak.
But apparently it means you're very socially
high in openness.
And you're very empathetic and
adaptable.
You're exactly. I think it's a really good thing, especially for an actor. It's a really useful
it's sort of like a we were talking earlier about like growing out hair and getting to that awkward stage, and there was definitely like a few years where it was an awkward stage, and people were like, what the fuck?
What is your voice?
Different teachers are like, directors would come into drama school and they're like, what, where are you from? The first time I met Yolanda at a party, she famously says all the time she thought I was from Glasgow.
Yeah,
so like between the music and like chatting.
I'm trying to remember, because I had a weird thing that I thought you were Scottish.
Yeah. I've actually got. I need to put this up. I say it doesn't really happen anymore, because since we've moved to London and I've sort of like taken on a bit of the East London thing. But I always said I needed to put up one of those like push pin boards where people say they've travelled, but put places where people thought I was from. Because sometimes it's really weird. Now you don't really get confused with that. And I think like Neela and I lived together in COVID, so we did this thing where we sort of melded together, and then she'll go up to Scotland and chat with her mum, and she comes back down sounding like this and very Scottish, like Northern Scottish, and she'll be gone for like 3 days, and I'm like, oh, what, babe, how's it going? Miss you when you're coming back down. So it does sort of like still merge a little bit, but I was in a vape shop in Glasgow. This was like 5 years ago, and I was just chatting to the woman there, and she was would she think I was from like Australian or German? She's like, either you're Australian or you're German. And I was like, how does that make any sense? And then I'll chat to people, and often people will do the thing of like, they think I'm from where they're from. I worked in a shipyard for a bit with this guy who was from Cornwall, and we were just hanging out every day, and that guy was proper alcoholic, fascinating guy. But he introduced me to Nigerian Guinness, if you know what that is.
Wow,
Nigerian Guinness, you get it in corner shops, and it's a tiny little Guinness in a bottle, but it's 9%. So he was drinking 3 of these in the morning on the way to work. Christ. Stop at the offie on the way. Basically, we get to, Twickenham. There's a really beautiful boatyard there. There's a weird island. What's it called? Eel Pie Island. There's this gorgeous island. There's all these like weird shanty hut things. It's like a bohemian society. And back in the 60s and 70s, they used to have festivals there all the time. But now there's this boatyard there, so we go there and we go to work, and he would drink probably 5 of these Nigerian Guinness in the morning before we started, drinking them throughout the day. We'd go to lunch, which was just him taking me to the pub, and we didn't have any time to eat any food. He'd just buy me 3 pints, and then we'd go back to work in the boatyard. And probably just being around him all the time and drinking as well.
Yeah.
I think he sort of bonded to me, because at one point he's like, oh, you must be from where I'm from. And I'm like, no. And I meet people all the time here, and they're like, where are you from? Like, you must be from around here, because I kind of sound like people from around here. And I'm like,
you're
no, I'm
true
from,
sort of
chameleon in a way.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
But it's useful though, because when you're doing like an American part, you've got that thing. I mean, doing a different accent. I did find it interesting, people who lived in Scotland for like 5 or 6 years and couldn't do the Scottish accent by the end. Can you do it?
I can.
Can you do a Glaswegian?
I can. I'm not going to do it now because it will be terrible. I mean, I can do it with Glaswegian. I find it. I have to do it quite a caricature Glaswegian, and then
really
taper
nasal.
it, and then taper it back. But I had to do a posh Edinburgh for a tape.
Oh wow!
And that was actually, I was like, this is going to be really, really hard. And I was like, oh, actually, this. And then Katia from the year did it with her, and she was like, it's actually a really good accent.
Yeah.
Because in Scotland, as a sort of like posh southerner, I was terrified to try and attempt. Actually, I did it once. We did Macbeth.
Right.
And there was a part, sort of like a bit part that our director, Ali, was like, all right, Henry, can you do this part? I was like, yeah, as opposed to another part I was doing.
Sure.
And I was like, I'm going to do a different accent. I'm going to do a Scottish accent for this part. And I said the line. And afterwards, when we cut, he was just like, Henry, was that a Scottish accent? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, can you do a better one? And I'm like, fuck. Yeah. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'll do a northern accent. And I just completely abandoned it because I was so embarrassed.
Does that sort of spur you on to then go and learn it? Is there an accent that like you'd really want to try? I always find like Scouse. I'm terrified of Scouse because I'd want to nail it. And it's always, having friends from like different parts of Britain, you really want to like make them proud by doing a different thing.
Yeah. Scouse is great. Like I love like an old school, like Ringo Starr sort of Scouse, like that.
Sure.
Because it's changed so much now, which is fascinating. Apparently, that's one of the few accents that have gotten stronger over time. Because usually, what you need for an accent, as you know, is just like time and isolation, and because everything is so sort of melted together now, accents are getting less strong. But the Scouse has gotten stronger from back in the 60s to now.
Yeah.
Apparently because of the Beatles. Because people were so proud to be from Liverpool that they wanted to sort of identify themselves as a Liverpudlian, as a Scouse.
Yeah.
So their accent got stronger. And apparently the same thing happened in New York after 9/11.
Oh, right. Okay.
The New York accent got stronger.
Sort of came back.
Yeah, because people they were proud to be from New York and they wanted to sort of like celebrate that. So the accent got stronger. Which I think is so fascinating that it's like historical things can change.
Yeah, it is interesting. I do find that, like, particularly in Britain, that accent sort of merges into everyone kind of sounds like they're from London nowadays. Just a modern, just neutral, not even RP, just standard.
Standard RP English or whatever. Yeah.
Apparently, it's a big thing in Cornwall. I had some friends that went down there for like a weekend recently, and they were really looking forward to speaking to different pirates and stuff, and they got there and everyone just sounded like them, and they were like, what the fuck is going on? And it was like the last day they were there, they were playing darts or something in the pub, and then they heard someone who was over in the corner, and they were like, oh my god, this is incredible. But they found out that like so many people they want to get away from that, sort of want to get away from their roots and sort of feel like they're a bit more, I guess, metropolitan.
That's mad. I think it's so, I love the different accents. I grew up in the Southwest, so like that Somerset accent I grew up with.
You had it?
No, I never had it, but like I grew up with it.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love that sort of like soft West Country accent.
Was it like a big thing when you were growing up? Did your parents not have it? Or?
No, because I mean, I grew up in sort of northwest of London till I was 13, and then I moved to live with my dad in Somerset when I was 13 to 18. So I never got it, and my parents don't have it, but I do love it.
Yeah. Can you do it?
I can do it a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're meat.
Yeah. Would you want to play a role with that?
Oh, yeah, sure. Why not? I don't know. If it's appropriate.
I feel like you don't see it that much nowadays.
I'm trying to think of something that Michael Fassbender did a film where he did the West Country accent. He played a traveller from the West Country.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
Which one was that? I feel like I know what you're talking about.
I think it was a West Country accent.
I always get confused with him though, because he does like the Northern Irish stuff, and sometimes like it kind of merges into one another, like Irish and sort of like Southern accents. I find people can get confused a little bit. Like we saw, what was it last night? The new Peaky Blinders film, the finale, and it's interesting watching people do the sort of Brummie, but like not, it's that weird thing because it's not like a modern Brummie accent, and some people can do it really well. I've always been like blown away by Cillian Murphy.
So good.
It's like one of the best acting roles ever, but some people can't do it. And you're like, oh, it is a bit weird. I do sort of like, I feel like there is a lot of pressure to, was it James McAvoy actually talks about it, where he says like accent is not acting. Right, so like you can really get into a role, but like that's the basics. At that point, you've done the bare minimum. You actually have to act.
Yeah,
and you feel like some people, it is like putting on a costume or an accent where it helps you get into that thing, but then you still have to do that extra bit of work to actually do something.
Yeah, it can really act as a block to acting. It's when you're not comfortable with it and you're so focused on the accent that you're forgetting about everything else.
Yeah.
But then you do feel it. As you know, like when it does become embodied and you can then make all sorts of choices with it. But it takes, I can't remember someone saying that there are no sort of, obviously some people have just natural talent for, or an ear for dialects, but when it comes to like bad accents in TV and film, it's usually just a time thing. They haven't had enough time to get the accent down. It's been rushed, or they haven't put in the work or the time or something.
I think it's always the lead as well. You always find when you watch something that is set in a particular place, often like the lead doesn't quite get it, but everyone else does, or everyone else is from that place. Yeah. Do you find I'm fascinated by physicality on screen? Is that something that you? Because I know obviously we did a lot of that in drama school. I'd say it was one of the biggest parts of drama school was like Lucian and Benedicta.
Amazing,
incredible.
That's the best part of RCS was the movement. Lucian and Benedicta are unbelievable. Yeah, big time.
You can really tell when you're watching screen roles that people have put in the time. It was something I really noticed watching A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It's like you really have to put yourself in that place, obviously with the accent and the costume, but you can still tell if someone's walking around in a medieval costume, but they feel like someone who's modern, and it really throws me out of it.
Yeah,
I find
that's so true.
Yeah, there's some people who are really meticulous about watching, like, you know, when you watch something, I think it's a big thing for like films that take place in like the 70s and 80s, and there's people who are obsessed with watching like colorized film from back in the day and really like picking up the physicality of people, and then other people, they just get in the costume and they're doing a really good part, but there's something about the way they express themselves.
Yeah,
you feel like this is modern.
That's so interesting. Yeah, it's I saw something the other day, I don't know if it's true, but it's a really interesting thought of like it's sort of what you're saying about watching old like footage from the 50s and you're looking at these people and the way they walk and the shape of their faces, and you could take the exact same camera, the same lighting, and film a modern person in the exact same costume, but somehow you know that it
feels different.
And whether it's the shape of the face because we talk differently, the musculature of the face is different. I can't remember the video I watched. I was like, God, that is absolutely mad. That like just the way we speak might have it's called iPhone face, isn't it now?
iPhone face.
Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So it's like we did it at drama, so it's like the face of yesterday, face of tomorrow. Do you remember that?
We never did this.
What? You didn't do that?
No.
So like a casting thing would be like, right, does Tom have a face of yesterday or does he have a face of tomorrow?
Okay.
And the whole class would be like, he's got a face of tomorrow, which means you have a contemporary looking face. You wouldn't be suitable for period. But then you look at, apparently have a face of yesterday, so I like suit period.
Right.
But another way of saying it is that Tom has an iPhone face. That face has seen an iPhone before. And it's like, and you do, some people just have like a modern looking face.
Yeah.
Like I think Timothée Chalamet has an iPhone face. But then someone like, God, who's like,
does this go in your Excel spreadsheet as well? Face of tomorrow and face of yesterday.
No, not quite. Maybe add another column for this one.
No, we played the casting game.
Yeah.
Which is where you get up and maybe you added that to that, but it was like you stand up and everyone basically just lists off all the different things that you could possibly do. And
are you a leading man or a best friend?
I don't remember. I just remember I was a pirate. Okay. Pirate like rogue. I think the long hair has sort of helped with that.
Yeah.
I didn't have it. People were like, definitely not.
Yeah. It's brutal.
Brutal. I do like it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, especially if you sort of play to those strengths and you're that kind of a person anyway. Like, I'm like, I'm a pirate.
But it's also the reality. Like you should have a good idea of how people see you.
Yeah, I remember when you got cast in, because like word went around that you got the part in Game of Thrones and you were playing a Targaryen. And we're like, fucking course he's playing. Of course you are. Come on.
Oh yeah, it was always going to be a Targaryen or a Lannister.
Yeah.
But dude, when they started making House of the Dragon, we were in drama school, and I remember thinking like, fucking hell, what I'd give to be able to play a Targaryen. And yeah, it's dream come true, really was.
Yeah. Is there sort of a surrealism when you're on set doing that? Because you're obviously like trying to do good acting, but the whole time you're like, fuck, I'm in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you'd forget and then you'd remember.
Yeah.
Like you'd be bored sitting in the green room with everyone just sort of like, when are we wrapping? And then you'd be like, this is fucking Game of Thrones. Like there's a dragon over there, a dragon puppet over there.
Yeah. Did you have any like family or friends that were just like constantly messaging you being like, fucking hell, you're in?
Yeah, I mean, I had to keep it quiet for a long time.
Yeah.
And then...
Is that tough?
Yeah.
Not mentioning it to people.
Yeah. A lot of people worked it out because I was going to Belfast.
Okay.
And they were like, I know what's in Belfast.
Yeah.
But that's always the fun one, is just being like, you find out about something and then you have to sort of keep it under wraps for a little bit. But yeah, no, I think people were very excited that was happening.
I'm sort of thinking about the iPhone face thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of modern shows where you dress in period, but you sort of act modern. I feel like that was My Lady Jane a little bit.
Definitely. Yeah.
How do you find that? Because I feel like that's a thing that's really taken off in the last few years, where people are very modern and you get a lot of like feminist pieces, but like people are just acting like they're modern day.
Yeah. Bridgeton and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah. I think there's a place for it. I think I think it depends on what you're doing. I think if you're doing that, then you're doing that, and that's fine. With My Lady Jane, people were turning into animals. So we could afford to be sort of a little bit sort of loose with how people would act in the Tudor times. Right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think if you're doing a true sort of historical piece,
there's a lot more work that needs to be put into that.
I think you should. I think you should be historically accurate. It needs to be enjoyable, and it needs to be digestible for the audience. But I do think I love watching something that is super sort of. It seems like it is from a different time. I'm trying to think of. I feel like I saw something recently where I'm just like, yeah, that's spot on. What was it?
Yeah, I feel like putting those constraints on yourself is fun at the end of the day as well. It's like women who are actors always talk about like putting on a corset for a period piece, like really puts them into the mind of that character.
Exactly.
Because you can't breathe and you're like, okay, this is what it was like. I feel like you can kind of get stuck in that as well, because you do hear about people who do method acting and they really go into. There's one particular actor who gave himself tobacco poisoning because he was just smoking all the time and kind of acting like a dick to everyone on set. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Really?
Yeah, it was
interesting.
Because actually, I don't know if this is true. I've always said this is the case, but he was doing a couple of things with Mads Mikkelsen, and there was a couple of years ago where like a bunch of films that won awards were people who had been method acting. And I think it's when you get so big and so famous and you're known for so many different things that you kind of get to the point where you're like, what the fuck can I do now to sort of top what I've done before? And you get a bit nervous, and so you do something like method. You just want to try something different. And it was I can't remember what the film was called. It was the one where he was the cowboy. It was based on a book.
Dog, something about a dog.
Power of the Dog.
Power of the Dog.
Yeah. And supposedly he was smoking so many cigarettes on set that he gave himself tobacco poisoning. He wasn't showering because obviously he's a gross. He was kind of the dickhead cowboy brother or something like that. Yeah. So and obviously intimidating. So he's like, if I don't shower, I'll be more like a cowboy and people will like smell that on me. And other actors on set complained about that because they're like, well, we wouldn't be showering either. So you're sort of like putting this on yourself. And I feel like there is a danger of trying to work so hard as an actor that you kind of make life horrible for everyone else.
Yeah, I think exactly. It's like, I think it's a bit sort of, it's not really the sort of point that you're trying to get a good performance. You're not trying to like convince your fellow actors that you are the person that you are portraying. It's a bit sort of missing the point a little bit, I think. But who the fuck am I to say that to Benedict Cumberbatch?
I know.
But no, I remember like I read Shia LaBeouf did that in Fury. In the tank, apparently he didn't shower, and they were enclosed in this tank all day. Yeah,
and
Brad Pitt was like, "Hey, dickhead, you need to fucking shower."
Yeah, please, we're in a tiny little tank all the time. I feel like if it's something that everyone gets on board with, it doesn't really happen so much anymore. I feel like a lot of films in like, what was it, Apocalypse Now, because they were out in like the jungle and you really do just like immerse yourself in that thing. If everyone's on board with it, I think it's like a bonding experience in a way.
Yeah, I think that's really helpful. Like, I worked with Finn Bennett, who plays my brother in Seven Kingdoms. He was, when we started filming Seven Kingdoms, he was just finishing filming Warfare. And they would get in at 5 a.m. every morning and do boot camp.
Yeah, that was a brutal film as well. Because we looked at his face, and it's that thing where you watch someone and you're like, I've definitely seen him in something before. I was like, oh shit, he was in Warfare. And that was a brutal film. Yeah.
But that was, I think that's incredibly, and they would call themselves, when they were on set, they would move around as a unit. So I remember him saying that, like Joe Quinn would, be like, they'd call the unit's name and be like moving out to go to set. And like, so you were always in that sort of like mentality of being part of a group. And I think that's fucking super useful.
Yeah, 100%.
Because that really, really informs how you're going to, the feel when you're on screen. But I don't think they need to sort of like sleep on the floor and
no. Was it Daniel Day-Lewis and all the stuff that he does, which sounds fascinating. And I know a lot of people sort of criticize him, but I don't think I need that to get into a role, but I find it fascinating. What was the film he did where he was being interrogated. It was Belfast, and it was the hunger strikes. I can't remember the name of the film, but very famously, he decided he wanted to be properly interrogated for like 3 days on end. So he was interrogated. He didn't. They didn't give him any food. He didn't have any sleep, so he could get into that sort of a thing. Which I feel like you could take it either way. Some people can say that's too far. Is there anything that you'd be interested? Like, I know a lot of people like the idea of like bulking up for a film or like an action film where you get to, like, I think it's nice to learn the skill if you've got a character who's, you know, whatever, a tailor or a weapons manufacturer or something. There's something nice about like getting into the mind of an actor.
Of course, yeah. I think whatever you can do to just be more believable.
Yeah.
In whatever you're doing. And if it's not hurting anyone, like if he wants to go off and do that and it works for him, then all power to it. It's just when you're like you said, involving other people and other actors, and like Jared Leto sending all those horrible things on the Joker.
What was this? Everyone keeps talking about Jared Leto recently, and I have no idea. I think I missed this. What?
I think he does that.
Yeah, he was sending letters to people.
For Joker, the Suicide Squad. Apparently, he was sending like used condoms to.
Someone said this about he was sending used condoms to what, the other cast members?
Yeah, to his house, to their houses, or like a dead rat, or and it's just like, how the fuck is that supposed to help you?
Yeah,
like you're just harassing your co-stars.
It's difficult when you've got so many people like that you're sort of doing off the back of something. Like it used to be Batman or Hamlet, but I feel like the Joker as well now is something that's just so famously done by other people. There must be something quite difficult. And then Barry Keoghan did it as well. I was saying the other day, because very briefly.
He's going to be he's in the next one.
Is there already another one announced?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
No, he's going to be actually. Excuse me.
Yeah, because they were sort of hinting that there was going to be another one. But there must be something like quite nerve-wracking about doing something like that so many people have done a very particular way and done really well. I'm forgetting his name at the moment, the guy who did it in the Christopher Nolan. We were talking about that last night. Yeah. And like going back and that was the first thing I'd ever seen of him. And then I went back and watched other stuff. And I was like, why was this the person that was cast for this? Because he always played the sort of pretty boy. And then that's just like one of the most famous.
I know.
Everywhere you go, there's a poster of him in that role.
Yeah.
So there must be something quite like terrifying about doing a role that so many people have done particularly well, and you're like, how am I going to make this different and interesting? Did you find that with doing the Targaryen?
No, because no one had played him specifically before.
It's a different realm.
And I felt sort of trusted to sort of interpret it in my own way. But yeah, when you're actually picking up the same role like Joker or Batman or Bond or something,
so much pressure.
There's a lot of pressure. Yeah. But then I think you have to just sort of attack it in the only way that you can attack it in. Like, it will be different because it's you are different. And I think I can't remember which actor said this, but they were talking about that only you can play you. And so if you try and get rid of as much of you as possible, you're sort of losing your sort of unique power. So you should try and have as much sort of crossover between you and your character as possible.
I think it's what everyone says about acting is like they keep auditioning, keep not getting jobs, and then one day they're like, right, I'm just going to be me. And because there's a truth to being yourself as opposed to trying to put on some sort of character, people always find that that's when they start getting work. One of my favorite ones is Patrick Stewart. Do you know this one?
No.
He was he was losing his hair at the time. He was one of those guys who just tried to cover it up and wear hats. And very famously, there was a night where like his mates got drunk, and I think he passed out before they did, and they shaved his head. And he woke up, and he was like, "Oh!" And he just realised that was him. And very famously now he plays all the baldy roles, and he just realised like, "Oh, I've been hiding myself for so long." And luckily for him, it was as simple as someone shaving his head, and then he was like, oh, that's it, now I'm me, I'm not trying to be someone else. And then he got, I think shortly after that he got Star Trek, and then that was it. He was just off from there.
God, that's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those things you listen to and you're like, should I shave my head? Am I going to find my true
Maybe
self?
that's it.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy. I think a lot of actors act because they're sort of trying to run away from a certain part of them, maybe. I don't know. Like, I was talking about this the other night, about how me personally, I really hate public speaking. I hate
something weird about like acting. I find you can just do it. There's something natural about it.
Because you're hiding behind a character.
Yeah.
You're not you. And that's what I actually found tricky with when I played music was I wrote these songs, and it's quite you feel quite vulnerable when you're up and you're singing and you're playing these songs to people that you wrote. There's nothing to hide behind.
Yeah.
Whereas acting, you can you are hiding behind a character. And if I ever had to do a speech at a wedding or anything like that, people say like, "Oh, but this should be easy. You're an actor." I'm like, it's not. It's really not the same thing.
It's a different thing. Yeah. Even just like chatting on a podcast, like I do narration for this football channel, and I couldn't care less about football. I thought it was going to get me into it, and I really just don't care. Half my time is just spent looking up. Like they'll do a script for an Italian football team, and half my time is just spent looking up names because I don't know how to pronounce them.
Wow.
There's something about like narrating a script where I'm just constantly. Is that your timer?
It is, yeah. But we can don't have to stop immediately.
No, it's all right. We'll sort of wrap it up. There's something about sitting and reading a script, and it's like every sentence I just fuck up. Every single time you trip over yourself, and I'm like, why is this so difficult? I was fascinated a couple of years ago in stand-up comedy, and it was one thing I always wanted to try because I was like, I don't know if I like.
I see that.
Yeah, people keep saying this.
Yeah.
So Neela, for my birthday, she got me a stand-up course.
Oh, wow, amazing.
There's an amazing comedy venue if you're looking for stuff to do, Angel Comedy in Islington.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And they do a 6-week comedy course. And what you do is you meet up for like 2 hours once a week, and at the end of it, you do a showcase.
Wow.
So you've got 6 weeks, and then you're going to do a 5-minute set in front of people. And it's a bit nerve-wracking. They say it's the nicest show you'll ever do because it's friends and family, and anyone can buy a ticket. But we ended up performing for like 75 people. And I was telling people, I was doing my driving lessons at the time, and my driving instructor, he's born and raised around here, proper East London guy. And I was telling him this, and he had to do a speech for a wedding. And he's like, I don't even want to do this, because he's the best man. He's like, I don't even want to do this. How the hell? It's the one thing people are always terrified about, because like I find music is like that, and stand-up. It's just you on a stage, and there's no character to hide behind. I always find the part weird. If you do like a play, and maybe you do like a Q&A afterwards, I get really nervous, because I'm just 100%. I'm me now.
Or you do, when I do sort of BTS or EPK, electronic press kit, like in between stuff, and they're asking you questions, I get so fucking nervous, and I end up saying the dumbest stuff because I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. I'm just like, what can I say that's remotely interesting?
How can I get this done as quickly as possible?
Exactly. That is. I can't imagine doing stand up.
No,
because you also, not only are you in front of everyone, you're looking for such a specific reaction. And if you don't get that reaction, you have failed.
And it's your jokes as well. So like if your jokes don't land, people are like, wow, you sat down and you wrote this, and you spent loads of time and you're dog shit. I was in Brussels for a little bit after drama school, and I was supposed to be doing a theatre and education tour. I got the visa, and then it was second wave COVID, so it all kind of crashed and burned. But I ended up hanging out with the people. There's a couple who ran this company for like 13 years, and they were like, we have a bunch of friends who have young kids, and they want to learn English. So would you be interested in going out, say like once a week on a Saturday, for 3 hours and like doing drama games and things with these kids? And I'd never done anything like that before, other than Shakespeare in schools was the closest thing I'd done to that. And I was like, I need to go out to a bunch of kids who don't speak any English and do drama games. And I was like, we'll see what happens. And then very stupidly, I got drunk the night before. So I was riding the train out to the middle of nowhere in Belgium. I was really hungover. And I was like, I'm just going to be me in front of all these kids. And if like, kids know right away as well. Something about like performing for kids, that they're just honest. I think it's the closest thing to Shakespearean performance, where they'll just call you out and say the rudest things. But if they're fascinated, they're like truly like drawn into what you're doing. And I was like, okay, how can I do this? I was like, I need to put on like a heightened version of myself. And so I sort of thought of like Doctor Who and the heightened like kiddiness that he's got. And I was like, I don't want to perform a character, but I just need to be a slightly bigger version of myself. And it worked, and it was great. And then I did it for like quite a few months, where I was just going out.
Oh wow,
like,
amazing. 3
hours with these kids who didn't speak any English, but somehow we made it work, and we played all these different games. And they spoke, Dutch and French, because Belgium sort of separated as the bottom half is French and the top half is Dutch. Because it's close to Netherlands and France. We just had a good time.
Amazing.
But there is that thing about like doing something that is just you.
So
you still doing music? Like you said, you sort of do it at home.
I
but
just
do you have any
myself.
interest to no interest to perform?
I'd love to do something on camera where I played a musician. I'd love to do that. I think that would be a really lovely mix of both things that I love. But no, I don't have any sort of desire to gig or no. I'd love to be in a band, but just to be in a band and play music, not to sort of to go out and play in front of people, really.
Fair. Cool. All right, I think we should wrap it up.
So, I mean, thank you so much, man.
Thanks for being here. It's great.
Really, really fun.
Cheers,
dude.